Hi, Jody. So we have your clamshell box here. I'm assuming that's not your post-it there. But if we don't have that there, we don't know whose portfolio this is. We don't know which way to open it, if I open it this way or if I open it this way, right? So having something on the front of it that identifies that it's yours and that tells us how to kind of open it, right? Just by having your name on there, we would know to open it this way, is really important. So that's something I would update on this to personalize this, make it feel like you're invested in this portfolio. Then we open it up and we have your title and permanence by choice. We have the text of your artist statement. This feels like it's just printed out on like computer paper and then put in a mat. So I would adjust that. I would print this if you're going to have it as in a mat here. I would print it out on printer paper or like photo paper, right? And I might even have it have a similar tone to the images so that it feels more in line with everything. Another option would be to have it printed out and kind of filling this whole box here. So that would allow us to feel like it's really part of the series. Then we move into your images. Let's see if I pull this down. I think you can still see that fine. So we have your first image here of the hands on the paper, which this works well for a first image for this series. Your work is obviously photography, and it just gets straight to the point. A couple of technical things. So first, the image is you've put a color cast on it, so it has a really green feel more than a sepia feel. And then the images aren't printed all the way out to the border, so I would print them a little bit larger so that they fit in here and they feel like they're made for these mats. And then the other thing is the mats are really bright white, so play around with different matte colors that match your images. I've spent like hours going through matte colors. It's amazing how many there are, so that we're seeing a matte that adds value to your work. So straight from that print to the book. The way that you've isolated these subjects with the lighting works so well in all of these images, and it's always nice it's nice to see your work online, right? But seeing it printed, it adds another level to it. And I think seeing it printed in that lighting that you've established with these prints or with these images works really well, and it really brings out exactly where you want us to look, exactly what you want our focus to be. Colors seem to be getting a little bit funky right in here. And that black just isn't quite as solid as I would like to see it. I'm not sure if you maybe resized these and they're like kind of small for this. So we talked about having names on everything, and I think at first that was working, but as you've really refined this series, keeping it simple, keeping it so we have to figure it out, is much more interesting, and I think it has more value for the viewer. I saw this in your review, I believe, but I haven't seen this in class. So the sewing as well as that hammer I hadn't seen. And then some of these are images we've seen, but you've made little edits to them or reshot them completely. It's funny that you include your own business card there. I almost want that to be the last image. There's a couple more after it, but I think that would work well as a last image where you're not only just saying something about technology, but you're also telling us like your information at the same time. Human contact. And then this might be the last one, the drawing. So the artist statement could go at the end as well. So either way would work well. I'm I'm not seeing, I'll check your box again afterwards, but I'm not seeing any leave behinds or any business cards with this. So that's part of what's required here, is that you print those out. And then you can just use a magic eraser and get rid of a lot of these little scuffs that are on your mats here. They're just little scuffs, but it takes away from the value of the work. So I would go through and clean all those up, and a magic eraser actually works amazingly well for that. Actually, this one opened a little bit. So yeah, it looks like it's just like 1/8 of an inch all the way around small that your print is. So I would print those a little bit larger. I'm sure that this is just a standard mat that you got, so printing them a little bit larger would allow it to work. So great job with your series. We've seen this develop and I think really kind of mature as you've gone through the semester. So your images are looking great. Just a couple of little things that I think you can do to strengthen the work of your portfolio as you put it out there. One last thing is, if you aren't going to have business cards with this, which I don't know why you wouldn't. If you did have business cards, you could put them in a little like envelope on here, but we need to know your contact information. So I'm sure your name is not completely unique, so just Googling your name might not lead someone in the right direction. So somewhere in here we should have your contact information, your website, email, phone number, whatever information you want to put out there.